I did a lot of work in therapy early on, learning grounding skills. I started off feeling extremely disconnected from myself and my emotions, and I was basically dissociated all the time. I did a lot of using your different senses to get into your body and to feel connected to the world around you. I find holding something heavy in my hands to be very grounding, like a stress ball. Holding ice can be very grounding too. Holding something cold in your hands or putting it on your face can be really helpful for bringing you into the present and feeling more connected to your body. Learning grounding helped a lot, using your senses, and also learning mindfulness, like mindfulness meditation, that helped a lot, and deep breathing practices. Doing deep diaphramatic breathing to calm your nervous system, that helped immensely. We would do yoga, journaling, talking in groups, and individual therapy sessions, and all of these things in conjunction really helped me start to feel safer and learn how to get back in touch with my own emotions. So I finally started not feeling as numb anymore. As I was working on stopping the self-destructive coping skills, I was starting to become less disintegrated and more able to be aware. Also, just being in a therapy setting, in a group setting with other people around me, that was the first time in my life I actually had other people helping me out with the dissociation. I would get very dissociated a lot, and I would have people around me just be like, hey, just get my attention. And that taught me how to bring myself out of the dissociation and get back into the present, having people around to communicate with. So having people outside to connect with that actually see you can really help you learn how to become more present and grounded. I've dealt with way less depersonalization and derealization. It used to be really severe and basically constant, and now it's more episodic and not as severe when it happens. So overall, I feel a lot more grounded and connected to the outside world and my sense of self. I no longer feel like I'm watching life through a glass wall or through fog anymore. I feel like I'm actually in my body. And now that I'm more grounded and connected in my body again, I've started being able to feel emotions through my body. Around this time, I remember telling my therapist that I felt like I had no sense of self, and I asked if that was possible. And this is when they told me that I could create my own sense of self. Before, I believed that I had to go for the rest of my life just feeling like this ghost, feeling like I was soulless or empty somehow. And it was really revelatory to be told that I could consciously construct a sense of self. I know that's something that a lot of people just do naturally and they don't really have to think about it, but it was different for me because I've been so dissociated for so long. This entailed learning to identify what I like, what I dislike. I actually made a list of like and dislikes and started consciously trying to identify qualities about myself, just figuring out who I am as a person. And my therapist explained to me how it can be helpful to be curious instead of being afraid, trying to replace that fear that I had towards my internal experiences and the other parts, trying to replace that with a sense of curiosity. And that can happen once you feel safe enough, once you feel secure that you will be supported and you'll be able to face whatever you find with support. It's good to feel I have my own sense of self because that's sort of like a safe base within myself. I know that I still exist. Anxiety, it's something that can be really hard to deal with because it gets very wired into your nervous system. So I've found a lot of progress in learning how to get my nervous system more balanced. TRM, Trauma Resiliency Model, that's very helpful in getting your nervous system more balanced. If it's imbalanced towards the fight or flight mode, the trauma activation, that can happen after trauma, and then learning how to activate your parasympathetic nervous system can really help you get out of that stuck trauma mindset and learn how to calm your body and not deal with so much anxiety on a daily basis. The more I've learned how to regulate my own nervous system, the safer I've felt to acknowledge internal experiences. I used to be completely disconnected from emotions, and emotions were extremely overwhelming to feel. So a lot of my early progress was in learning how to acknowledge and feel my own emotions. I found it helpful to regard emotions as neither good nor bad. They just provide information and I can learn from them. This requires a process of learning emotion regulation, and it can be helpful to find things that are safe emotional containers. So for me, listening to music is a safe emotional container. I am able to listen to a song that explains and describes how I'm feeling and connect to the emotions of that song, and it feels safer than just to do it on my own. So that was really helpful early on. Also, doing artwork is really helpful for connecting to the disconnected parts. Doing things like artwork, drawing, playing music, singing, these things can all get your psyche more integrated, and artwork is a really healthy, useful way to process experiences.